Hi, my name is Patrick Osteen. I am the artistic director of RhinoLeap Productions, which is based in Asheboro, North Carolina. And I'm from the town, actually, born and raised here. And then I went to school somewhere else, and then I worked in a lot of other places and found myself ultimately coming back and co-founding RhinoLeap Productions in 2015. And I've been on and off here working with that company ever since. We've had the great joy of bringing Shirley down to direct some of our shows down here. I have the great privilege of getting to bring a show that is very near and dear to me, An Iliad, up to the Hangar Theatre very soon. So An Iliad is a modern retelling of the Iliad, Homer's The Iliad, that was adapted by Lisa Peterson and Dennis O'Hare, based on the 1990s Robert Fagel translation, I believe. And so what they've done is they have taken different excerpts of the show, or rather of the poem, and they've created a show that jumps back and forth between using the heightened text of the Iliad, as well as these kind of editorial, here's an as if type of show. So it jumps back and forth in a way that I think really personalizes the story for people nowadays, right? Like, how do we, so many of these images in this show we understand to this day, unfortunately. And so hearkening that to what's happening in today's world, I think again really anchors this story in why it is still so important to tell. Let me see. So how would I describe an Iliad in 5 words or less? That is difficult. I would say life is beauty, war is waste. That's 6, isn't it? Shoot. Enjoy life. No, that's terrible. Savor life. War is waste. There we go. And again, I mean, the story is, in some ways, it's as if the poet, Homer, the poet, the one person who tells this story. In this instance, it will be me. Sometimes there is multiple people in the show. Our production just has a single performer, which allows it to be so versatile as my ability to take it very easily to different places. But it is as if this person has been telling this story for millennia, and it has changed over the course of time to the point where we walk into a room now, a theater, a bar, a restaurant, a courtyard, and we tell a story, and we tell this story, and we say, what is still important for us to include in this story, right? Based on the attention span of people now. Is, back in ancient times, shows would go on for days, that type of thing, where now we have, is it 90 minutes? We got 90 minutes to tell the story. Okay, so in 90 minutes, how are we going to tell the most effective story and what it is that we're doing, which is, I think, a plea for peace, and an understanding of how this particular story, the story of Troy, the Trojan War, is our first war story, and how that story has shaped civilizations to come, and it shapes our species, and the way that war shapes the topography of who we are, right? Of borders and customs and on, right? And so much of that is done through violence, and what that causes for us to live inside of how that shapes our world. So mainly the story focuses on Achilles and Hector, focuses on Hector and his family, Andromache, his son Astyanax, talks about the beauty of their life, talks about the beauty of Troy, and it talks about the waste and the pain of the destruction of such a treasured society, and in some cases the inevitability of those types of conflicts, and who's behind them. And so often In this piece, we talk about it being the gods, right? The gods will this to happen. The gods need something to entertain them in some ways. And so these types of events, they keep the gods interested in humans. And again, what that does to us psychologically, to feel as if we're almost at war for the pleasure of the greats. Let's see here. I don't know. Right. What makes this relevant? Well, I mean, that's a painfully easy question. I think as we look around, it doesn't feel as if conflict is lessening. In some ways now, at least with our ability to comprehend and our ability to see, we know how many conflicts are happening simultaneously, how much pain and suffering is happening simultaneously on this planet. One of the things that happens in this play is that there is a listing of about 6 pages of wars, starting with, we say the Trojan War, and then the Peloponnesian War, the Persian War, and we go all the way through till today. And in the 4 years that I have been performing the show, we have now added 4 wars. So again, that it shows us how common this echoing of violence still is throughout our culture, and the way in which it ends up being the way in which we solve our problems somehow, or create more problems, or create different problems. But certainly it also, I think, is relevant today because it prizes the beauty of life and the beauty of relationship and of love. And so much of this play is about love, and how hate can turn to love in moments of heightened pain, or at the end when Priam, many of us know the story that Achilles kills Hector, and that Achilles drags Hector's body around the city for days and days and days, and around Patroclus' tomb for days and days and days, and then we also talk about how Priam goes to Achilles to ask for his son's body back, and Achilles acquiesces and picks Hector up and does this incredible kindness because he sees the humanity, and he sees a father and a son, and he recognizes himself as a son, and he thinks about his father, and suddenly that brings them together in a place where he does something extraordinarily kind to the father of this man that was his mortal enemy for so long. So that incredible respect that we have, and the deep waste of destroying such valuable things like the people and the civilization. So anyway, I'm so very excited to be bringing this piece up to the Hangar Theatre in Ithaca, and I hope to see you there.